Matt, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming to meet with me.
Yeah.
Again, like I said on the phone, I'm new to your account.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure what I did is called a marketing content review, which is probably going to be different from what you're used to, but I want to make sure that I fully understand the uniqueness of your business and your strategy so that we can make sure that whatever message we have going forward really fits what you want to do and help your business, okay?
That sounds good.
Yeah, so I put together this review. Now, I printed out a copy of it for you.
Oh, okay.
Basically so that you can take notes. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I did a review of your presence online, the advertising that I see that you're doing, your website, things like that. And hopefully it brings up questions for you so that you have notes to kind of follow along.
Perfect.
And we can ask and then we can go from there, okay?
Yep.
All right. What I want you to keep in mind is this whole presentation is about you. This isn't about what I do and everything that I can throw at you. This is about what's important to your business. And I want you to keep in mind as we go through these things, keep in mind your customer. You know, what do they really want? What do you really provide for them? You know, things like, you know, are they getting their questions answered specifically to what you can do? How are they finding you? What competition do you have? Those are the types of things that I want to make sure you keep in mind as we go through this, because that's what's really important.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Makes sense.
So I'm going to start by asking questions. I want to make sure, again, I understand the specifics of your business. So,
Okay.
you know, going through looking at your website, some of the advertising you're already doing with this, is it safe for me to assume that, you know, the business accounting, the small business payroll, W-2s, things like that, is that kind of the bread and butter of your business? Is that safe to assume?
That's the way it started, and then
Okay.
it's kind of morphed into the financial planning and services as well. But yeah, we do, you know, personal tax returns, small business, like you said, payroll, tax work for them, pretty much like all the other accountants.
Sure, okay. So do you break that down into categories of like, you know, your business accounts versus doing personal taxes and then keeping financial planning separate? Is that
Yeah,
kind of
pretty
how you do
much.
that? Okay.
Yeah, that's, you know, and there's some crossover.
Sure, absolutely.
Between, and that's what we
Yeah.
like, you know.
Mhm.
If, you know, we can get somebody to try us for one of our services, we try to capture all of them, but we don't
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So how, if you look at your business side of it, the payrolls, the business taxes, how would you say that's performing for you?
It's going well. It's
Yeah?
going well. You know, the government keeps it complicated enough that most business owners are kind of scared and intimidated by
Sure.
doing it, even with Quicken and some of the applications out there. So that's going well.
Sure. And how is that versus an individual? If I want my taxes done, how's that going?
You know, the seasonality of that kind of drives us crazy because people come in and we do a lot of quick returns, and there's so much competition for that. You know, we're not H&R Block. So, you know, they pay $100 and they get most people get a simple tax return, sometimes accurate, sometimes not, somebody that does it part-time. Here you get a tax professional, it's $250 for a normal return, you know, married, there's different variables, but that's our simple return.
Sure.
So, you know, we're more than twice as expensive.
So why is somebody choosing you then, if you're more than twice as expensive?
Expertise, you know, we've been
Okay.
doing this 30 years and we get the numbers right. That's kind of what we use, we get the numbers right.
I should have told you up front. There may be awkward pauses. I write too fast for my own good. I got to write slow so I can read what I wrote later. So don't read into that.
No problem, no problem.
Just me trying to catch up with my hand. So how is that in comparison to the financial planning side of your business? I didn't really notice a lot out there about it.
Yeah, and you've been on our website, it sounds like. You know, it's kind of as an afterthought on our website. You know, we're not real happy with our website. You know, I think you see our office here is pretty professional. And that's our approach. Our website was, you know, okay a couple years ago, but it's kind of dated. We'd like to do more on the, you know, financial plan. That's really competitive as well with all the national guys.
Sure, sure. What area, would that be the area you would label as your kind of biggest area that you want to target? Or?
I would say probably, yeah. You know, retirement planning, wealth management would be the first thing. And, you know, we can always, but our bread and butter still is the business side of accounting.
Sure.
And then third would be the individual tax work. And that's, we probably have enough of that.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want to add much on that part, if anything.
Where would you like to be as far as the business side, your bread and butter? Are you happy with your percentage of business? Do you want to see that improve?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, we could always add more businesses, you know, because we lose businesses every year. You know, our churn rate on businesses is about 15%.
Really?
A lot of it was mergers. You know, like
sure.
we like just last week we had 2 contractors that merged together. They were both our customers. We just lost a customer.
Right.
You know, one guy retired, sold out his business to another, and it's about 15%. You know, if we could pick up, we could do probably another 25, 30 small businesses a month. You know, we've got about 300 to 400, and I say 300 to 400 because, you know, like I said, month to month and quarter to quarter, it changes our number.
Sure.
I think we're about 350 right now.
So what areas do you concentrate? Do you have businesses just in the Peoria
You
area?
mean geographically?
Yes.
The Tri-County.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have stuff in Peoria, Woodford, and Tazewell.
Okay. You ever go out of the area over to Bloomington, things like that?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody wants to stay as local as possible.
All right. So when a new business is researching whether they want to use you or not, what's important to them?
I would say getting the numbers right, cost, especially if you're talking about a new business, is a big deal.
Sure.
But most business owners are afraid of the tax man, the government, or they do it themselves.
Yeah.
So they want somebody to come in and tell them, hey, this is going to be okay, and we're going to get the numbers right, and it's no hassle for them because they're good at building houses. They're not good at the finances.
Sure.
At all, which I'm sure you run into.
Yeah, we see that quite a bit, so
Yeah.
that's something we have in common.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, well, that gives me a good idea as far as, you know, the customer you're looking for, what's important to them,
Mm-hmm.
what's important to you. So, again, what I did is some different types of analysis, and the first thing I looked at is your market.
Okay.
Now, the most commonly searched thing that I saw on Google is tax preparation.
Okay.
And that's going to be a lump. It's going to be both individuals, but there's going to be businesses looking for tax preparation.
Yeah, I see
okay?
like H&R Block.
Yeah, you probably see some businesses that you
Mm-hmm.
recognize in the Peoria area, okay?
Hey, where are we?
Well, you're not on there, and we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
And that's something that's really, really important. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with how a Google page is broken down.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I did it in a little bit more detail. So when you look at it, okay, the first thing you notice is in the green, or in the purple, I should say, in the with the little yellow tags there. That's called search engine marketing, paid advertisements. You may have gotten phone calls for something called Google AdWords. Okay, that's what that is. It's a
every
matter
day.
of
Somebody's a Google expert, a Google specialist, a Google reseller from Google, related to Google.
Yeah, I think that Google lays on their computer, so they call you.
Yeah, or somebody claiming to be.
Yep,
Google,
exactly.
yeah.
But that's what they're actually referring to. It is called a paid advertising search. It's how you show up, where you show
Okay.
up, and there's a lot of intricacies to that, and that's something that is part of a program you're already doing with
Okay.
us, okay? And then in the green, that's what you're going to hear called SEO, search engine optimization. That has to do with your website, how it's shown up, how places like Google trust you, how they find you relevant. And again, that's where we do analysis and take a look at those things. Does that make sense? Does that bring up questions?
Yeah, I guess, where are we if we're doing that with you? And over here, why aren't we?
Well, when I did
Ritz or
this
Gerber,
search-
I know Pete
Sure.
over there.
When I did this search, as far as your website, you are on page 11. Big deal is at
Not
least
2 or
9
3, all the way, 11 pages
11,
back. So
yeah.
I did appear, it's just somebody
You
would have to
appeared.
skip the first 10 pages.
Right, and the thing you want to
Oh,
think of
boy.
is how many times do you click on page 2?
Rarely.
Exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen anywhere from 89 to 92% of people never
Sure.
bother with page 2. So if you're not on page 1, it's
Yeah, I assume
just
you're
a
not
step
going to
above
show me all
non-existent.
10 pages, right?
No, I wasn't going to go through that.
Thank you, yeah. Just like most people are looking for tax.
Yep, exactly. So
If you're a player, you're in
that
the
part
front.
of it, yeah, really has to do with your website. So we took a look at your website, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of times we'll talk about the aesthetics, things like that. It's important for you, from what we were saying earlier, to give a really professional look, professional manner. You have the office building to match it. You know, aesthetically, my personal opinion doesn't quite hit that, but beauty needs the eye of the beholder. So that is something that's easy.
Yeah,
to
I agree with you.
Yeah, I
Tim,
care
yeah.
personally more about the mechanics of it. I don't care about the red paint. I care about the engine and transmission. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Because that's
Why is that?
Because
I mean,
that's what Google cares about.
Okay.
It's about
Well, it's
how-
probably both, though, isn't it? Really?
It is. I mean, it helps because your customer's going to care about how it looks, and they're
Yeah.
going to want to make sure it's easy to read, easy for them to find the information.
Navigate, sure.
If I'm looking for financial services on your page here, there is one thing for financials, but it doesn't really explain what it is. So for a customer, it's harder for me to understand what it is. The other thing is Google understanding it. They need to understand what this page is about. They need to understand all the information in the page. They need to understand the pictures in the page. And that's what starts helping you show up towards the first page. And if you don't have those types of things, you're not showing up and your customer isn't going to be able to research. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it looks like we have just one strength, but maybe a few other
Yeah, we really
opportunities.
want to work on the mechanics of it and make sure that, you know, Google can read it correctly so that you have the opportunity to get in front of a customer. And that's really what matters. It's a matter of getting in front of the customer, then having it give the right professional kind of appearance for your
Yeah, so
customer.
they call us.
You want to think of your website as your salesperson that works 24 hours a day, doesn't take time off, will always be dressed.
It's our virtual
to the time.
storefront.
It
Yeah.
really is. It honestly, anything you do online, your website really is the foundation of everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the best windows, you can have the perfect roof. If your foundation isn't working, it's all going to fall apart over time. So that's a really big area that, you know, something that we're incredibly good at, and then we can go into how we can help you with that when we can put together a recommendation.
Okay.
Okay? Now, what we do is we break that down a little bit and we look at what your Google rank is. You know, we like to see Google rankings around 5. Yours, honestly, is a 0, and that has to do with the fact...
Zero is probably not good, is it?
Right. The only keyword Google can read is just your website, but that doesn't tell you that you do tax preparation, accounting services, wealth management. So it's a matter of, again, those mechanics on the back end, them understanding
So
what
Google
you do.
doesn't connect me with accounting,
Right.
tax, payroll.
Exactly, which is
financial
why
planning.
you're on page 11.
Oh.
Right?
So the way they, okay. I
Does
see.
that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a matter of
I never
what they
thought of it
understand.
that way.
Yeah, they set up to where they want to read the titles, like the spine of the book, so they understand what you are. Then they want to make sure the content matches tax preparation, if that's what we use as an example. They want to make sure pictures on there are about tax preparation, and they're actually worded about tax preparation, not image 36452 JPEG, because Google doesn't know what that is, and they can't see pictures, the way their system works.
Yeah,
So-
and we expire. Yeah, in May.
Yeah, you're
How-
looking at expiring, and you've had your website for a long time. You
Yes.
registered your URL in 2007, and that's a really big deal to Google. You want to make sure we keep that, and we can, again, put together something where we can restructure your entire site, but we can keep that URL because that actually helps you rank, having it for longer. So,
Okay.
again, that's something we
So
can go
even
through
though
and
it's
make
been around a long
recommendation.
time, I'm still a 0. Okay.
Exactly. Now, the other thing that's really important is mobile. How many times do you check, and you got your iPhone sitting out there, how many times do you check everything on your iPhone or use an iPad like I do
24/7,
all the time?
according to my wife.
Right. 70% of mobile searches result in a phone call right now. That's a lot. You want those searches. And, you know, think about it. I do the same thing. If I'm trying to find something and I find it on my phone, I just hit the button to call.
Sure.
So it's a customer that's further down that buying process. And then Google punishes you if you're not mobile set up. If you have to do one of these things and try to
Yeah,
see
is
those
mine-
sites where it doesn't
yeah,
work,
is mine mobile?
yours is not. And again, that's something that we have the ability to help you with. And that when we set up a website, we'll set it up mobile, so it's readable on your laptop, readable on your iPad,
Okay.
readable on there.
That sounds expensive, but I see your thought process. But redoing websites, paying Google, yeah,
You know, part of this you're already doing, so it's a matter of structuring a plan together. But again, the important thing is making sure all of this matches the strategy that you want and getting your customers. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, one of the other things that we look at online is we take a look at what's called your reputation management. We take a look at your business listings. Now, right now, you're on, I think it was a count of 150 different online sites, which is always boggling how many sites you're on online. One company grabs it from the next, grabs it from the
yeah.
next.
You don't have any control. Just
Yeah,
whoever-
it just goes.
Yep.
Now, it's saying you have 138 that are incorrect.
Ooh.
Now, some of that is kind of simple, and I know this is small, but like this one says AA accounting versus AA accounting and financial services. Some of those are simple, but again, search engine sites really care about things being similar
matching.
and matching and,
Sure.
and being more congruent. Okay, there are a few
Yeah, the
where it
name
has
is-
different names. There are
Yeah,
a
the
few where
name
your
looks
phone
really
number's
messed
wrong.
up.
Things like Foursquare, you don't have a profile on there. Things like those are things you want to pay attention to. Reputation management, again, is something that we can help you with. We can manage those. We can give you the ability to hit a button and make sure it's all one correct thing so that the customers can find you easier.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, I didn't find you on Facebook. Do you guys have a business Facebook page?
No, we all have personal ones, but
Okay.
we haven't
I
built
also
it.
didn't find you on like LinkedIn or Twitter.
No.
This may sound odd, but is there a reason we're avoiding social media?
Well, just we haven't taken the time to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's fair. Is it more of a concern of time or understanding?
Well, that and to be honest, LinkedIn to me is a little bit more professional,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole Facebook thing for the teeny boppers, I don't know if professionals, attorneys, doctors, accountants, chiropractors, dentists should really be doing much on Facebook.
You'd be surprised. Honestly, just about everybody's on Facebook anymore.
Sure.
If you think of like a pyramid, right? Your
Mhm.
website is the base,
Mhm.
the cap is social media.
Okay.
When people, they get a recommendation. If I ask somebody, hey, where should I go to get my taxes done this year? And they say, oh, AA Accounting. I'm going to go Google you. I'm going to look at your website. I'm going to check out your Facebook page because that's instant information. Now, of course, you can make recommendations and manage some of that yourself. But again, we have the ability to help with that because a lot of times it's a matter of time. Do you have the time set forth for that? You were saying like your customers they're contractors. They're not tax preparation. You take care of accounting services. We can help with the advertising, the marketing, and the image part of it.
Okay.
That's what we're here for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that we look at is your branding. You were talking about the financial services. It was kind of a afterthought when you guys built your
on our website, yeah.
Yeah. But I've also noticed in the different types of advertising, both with us and what I found for you guys, there's really not much about financial services besides your name. So in going after that customer who wants to set up a retirement plan, build wealth management, things like that, you want to make sure your name is out there so they think of you. Everybody does think of, your national brands and things like that because you hear their name so much. So one of the things that we do is we have the ability that, when you're going online and you're researching who you want to use as a wealth management services, and then you go check the Weather Channel, check your Facebook page,
ESPN.
your fantasy sports,
Yeah, sure.
things like that, your name pops up. So if we look at like this here, when you're looking at, we put on the Chicago Trib, we put on Weather Channel, you have the ability of having accounting and financial services actually show up. So when I'm doing that research, it starts being top of mind. It's like having a billboard, but everybody going down the road is looking for what you do. So you're really targeting your customers, and we have
So
the
it's kind of
ability
like an
to do that.
online billboard. Okay.
Yeah, it's an online billboard, but you can target it to your specific customers,
I see.
which is really cool. So there's quite a bit with that we can do. Now, and a couple other options and advertise it. Do you have a hard time with, you did somebody's taxes last year, do you get them to come back this year?
On the personal level, they're fairly loyal. I would say 3/4 return.
Yeah, okay, so about a quarter down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move away, go to H&R Block.
things like that. Do you think it would help if you had the ability to get a hold of them to say, hey, don't forget, tax season's coming up?
Yeah, we send out a direct mail piece.
Sure, okay.
That usually February 1st.
Let me ask you something. How many times when you get a text do you check it?
Every time.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So we have programs like text marketing that you can send out reminders or send out things certain times throughout the year that you can get a hold of them, but it goes to their phone. It doesn't get lost in email. It doesn't get lost in mail. It gives you the opportunity to get them on their phone because honestly, if your phone buzzes right now, you probably check it real quick because everybody does.
No, I wouldn't want your hair.
Well, if you do, it's okay. I wouldn't be offended. It's
or
habit.
I see, who sent it.
Yeah.
So when you check it, yeah, and if it's certain people,
Absolutely.
stop us. But most,
That's
no.
understandable. But,
Just my
it's a
boss.
habit. You do. In a couple minutes, you'll check it. I think they said 91% checked within 4 minutes. You have a
Oh,
more
sure.
direct chance of getting a hold of that customer and reminding them. But you can also do it ahead of time. If you say February 1st, boy, I get my tax returns like the 1st of January or first week of January last year. I've already got my plans laid, by February 1st. So you have the opportunity to contact them at the beginning of January. You can contact them at the beginning of February still. You know, and it's a matter of, does it reach more people with less without doing the mail? Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a pretty neat trick. You know, again, it's a matter of what fits in your strategy to help you attract your customers to choose you.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I took a look at your DexNose conversion page. Okay,
Okay,
so
what's-
when somebody goes online and you go to your DexNose site, it basically has the basics with detail of your business all in one spot. Now, the nice thing about this is our site, when we have a conversion page, when somebody selects you online, it goes to this directly. This is set up for things like mobile, so that it's readable by, the Googles, the Yahoos, the Bings. It's readable on your phone, so it allows you a little bit easier access for your customers. What I noticed on here again is everything really is focused about accounting. Again, it's just a matter of not having the information for you out there about your financial services. We've got it filled out nicely, the areas you do. We've got the ads in there. You took advantage of the video slideshow, which shows about what you do, which is great.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
neat
I
the way
need to
that
get
works.
some reviews.
Yeah, getting some reviews on there, but then, this also allows you access into your account management system, which allows you to manage and see the results that you're getting. So you actually have transparency to kind of
Okay.
go through there, okay? Again, the opportunity I see is just more information about your financial services.
Okay.
Does that bring up questions?
So I would go in and change that, or how's that work?
Yeah, you have 24-hour access.
Okay.
You can change it all the time. If you don't want to, that's what I'm here for.
Oh, okay.
Let me know and I
alright.
can take care of it.
Okay.
I can't do it at 2 in the morning for you.
Sure.
But but yeah, if it's something you're like, I
Okay.
can't get this to go right, give me a call. That's what I'm for.
Okay.
Now, I also took a look at your print advertising you're already doing with this in the yellow pages. Again, you're under tax return, tax preparation, W-2s, certified CPAs. And again, it's all the basic information. It's simple to read because of the way it's set up.
Yeah, kind of plain Jane.
It is. What you want to think of, one, again, think of your customer. Does this give them the image that you want to have about the profession that you do? Two, again, there's nothing about financial services. So,
Yeah, I think there's some headings. I remember that, the guy last year talking about financial planning, investment, stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have to get, there's a lot of compliance there too.
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, but once you go over to the financial.
Sure.
So we don't have anything under those?
Don't.
It's all accounting and tax?
Yeah, it's all accounting and
Okay.
tax. And again,
I
that was
think we
kind of
did
a
that
big
with the
area
other
I saw.
book last year. We did some financial.
Yeah, so
It's a similar
sounds
type
like
of
that's definitely something we want to put together a package to make
Okay.
sure, again, we're getting the right message out to the
Sure.
right customer there for you. Okay? So one of the things we also do when we put together, something that really is a better representative of your image is we can do a score so that it's what's called smart content. So we can build these ads in a way that we know customers perceive them a little bit better. It attracts them more. It really gets you better results, is what it comes down to. We can kind of put together a scorecard. This isn't actually yours, but it puts together a scorecard to show you how it's built and what we expect out of it, okay? Now, I know I threw a lot at you, and I know this is completely different than you're probably used to. It's a matter of flipping through the book and saying, hey, what do you think? The question is, why do you want to look at improving your website, making sure you show up better on Google, improving your image, getting yourself out there financially? Why do you want to do that with Dex? That's the big question, right? So here's a couple things about us that a lot of people don't know. We're typically thought of as the phone book.
Sure.
We are one of only 20 Google Premier partners. Okay, we have teamed up with one of the top SEO companies in the world in boostability. They're typically in North America ranked in the top 2 to 5. We do a fantastic job of making sure we get you in front of the customers with the right message so that they choose you. It's just that you don't expect it from us because we're thought of as a phone book, which is partly why I do this. Okay. Now, when we looked at everything we just talked about your website, we talked about your print advertising, we talked about how you're showing up online, we talked about your image, social media. What sticks out to you as, boy, I'm surprised, or I really want to target that?
Well, Tim, I think from what we're talking about, the website needs to be improved dramatically. both, I think you said, the way it looks, and that, I think you said mechanics or something
Mhm.
like that. And that's a little confusing to me, but we need to get that fixed. Being on page 11 of Google does not work.
Right.
You showed me tax prep. I don't know about accounting or some of the other places.
They're similar, I looked.
Okay, so, if that's the case, I'm gonna do a little research too. I
Sure.
assume, we're gonna meet again and, kind of compare notes. I took some notes here too. That's a big deal. The text thing, because it's geared towards individuals, I'm probably not interested in.
Okay.
Because our number one priority is the financial planning. And number two, getting businesses to hire us to be their accounting firm. So those are the things that, the Facebook page, okay, I still have some philosophical issues with Facebook overall. And, my daughter who's 16 on Facebook versus it being a tool for me to run my business. So that would probably be on the back burner as well.
Okay. Those are some things that I picked up as well. I think we definitely need to look at your website, make sure we're showing up more, not just, again, tax preparation, but improving on the financial planning. And we can look at that as a whole. So not just your website, but how you show up, where you show up, making sure your image is correct, even in the print.
Yeah,
We can
it's
take a
for
look at all of that
maybe
for
the
you.
financial planning. I'll
Yeah.
look at what I'm doing with the Hebrew or Haibu or whatever, and look at some of those ads, but they're kind of similar.
Yeah, we can take a look at all of that. What I'm gonna do, if it's okay, I'm gonna go back, do a little more research on this, put together some different packages that I feel would be a pretty smart move that'll fit your strategy. Would you be available this next Tuesday? That I
Sure.
could come back?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
You wanna do the same time, 8:30?
Yep.
Okay, let's plan on that. I appreciate your time again, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Thanks.
Thanks.